Tonight, you are going to a city that doesn't know yet what tomorrow holds. It is, at this moment, entirely itself, alive, warm, at rest. The streets are quiet, the shops are shuttered, the bakeries are dark, the taverns have sent their last customers home. The proprietors are sweeping their floors, they're rinsing their cups, they're thinking of nothing more than the heat that's finally passing, and the bread that needs to go into the ovens before dawn. The mountains to the north are as they've always been, enormous, solid, undemanding. They rise above the bay slowly, the way mountains do here, unhurried, massive, certain of themselves. They have been standing in that spot longer than anyone can measure. You are going to Pompeii. It is a summer night in the year 79. The city doesn't know what you know. That is the gift you bring to it, and also the gift it gives to you, the chance to see it as it truly is, in the last of its ordinary hours, when everything is still possible. The city is simply a city, prosperous, busy, deeply human. It sits along the Bay of Naples, with its back to Vesuvius, its face to the sea, its hands full of the everyday business of living. You are not here for what's coming, you are here for what is here. And what is here, on this warm August night, is one of the most complete cities in the Roman world, breathing, slowly, the breath of a place that is satisfied with itself. It asks nothing more than to continue. Come in then, the Herculaneum gate is open, the city is waiting. Let your body settle first. Feel the weight of it, the full weight, the weight you forget about during the day, when the body is busy, when it moves from one thing to another without ever fully stopping. Let it stop now. Breathe in the way you breathe when nothing is required of you. Out slowly, again. The road to the gate is already beneath your feet. The gate is already open. The warm air of Pompeii is already coming to meet you. The road enters Pompeii from the northwest. It passes through the Herculaneum gate, 2 stone arches, side by side, in the city wall. One arch for foot traffic, one for carts. Both are worn smooth, worn by decades of quiet use. The grooves cut deep into the lava paving, written there permanently. They have been there longer than most people can remember. You pass through the pedestrian arch. The city opens around you. The first thing you notice is the darkness. Not the darkness of open fields, not countryside dark, wide and breathing. This is the darkness of a city at night. It holds its shadows more tightly. It concentrates them between walls, between stones. It is enclosed, and enclosure has its own kind of quiet. But within the darkness, there is warmth, the warmth of stone that has spent a full summer day drinking Italian sun. It releases that warmth now, slowly, into the night air, the way a sleeping body releases warmth into a cool room. The lava stones beneath your sandals are still warm. They will stay warm until well after midnight. You feel it rising gently through the soles of your feet, still warm, still here, still. The Via Consolare runs straight from the gate toward the heart of the city. You walk it the way the city intends, south toward the Forum. Slowly, in the dark, you pass the stepped entrance to the Folonica. You pass the high, windowless walls of wealthy houses. They front this street. Their blank faces conceal what lies within. Gardens and courtyards and quiet. You pass the stump of a fountain. The street narrows here, just slightly, then opens again, easier now, wider. The avenue breathes. The street is paved in dark lava stone. Large, irregular polygons, fitted close. Beneath your feet, they are solid and old. Raised sidewalks border the road on both sides. The Romans understood something important. Pedestrians and carts should not share the same ground. Along the major streets of Pompeii, you can walk the full length of the city, on raised stone paths, lifted clear of the mud and the wet, clear of the wheel ruts, clear of the general difficulty of shared ground. A dog trots past you. It has the particular air of a dog with important business. Elsewhere, slightly late, it does not look at you. A lamp burns in a niche above a doorway. 3 houses down, a small oil lamp, terracotta, steady. It was left burning for whoever might arrive late. Or perhaps it was left burning from habit, from the accumulated habit of all the nights this household has existed, from all the lamps that have burned in this niche, all of them before this one. The flame is steady in the windless night. The walls along the Via Consolare are painted in familiar colors, deep Pompeiian red. It comes from local iron oxide. The warm ochre yellow gleams softly, and the pale cream of old stucco, whitewashed once, long ago. It has weathered into something else now, the color of old walls in a warm country. Some walls carry paintings. Above a doorway, Venus emerges from the sea. The artist painted it with casual confidence. They have done this scene many times. They have stopped being impressed by it. On a lararium, a pair of serpents coils around an altar. A shopkeeper painted them on the exterior wall. The household gods are on public view. The sacred and the commercial share the same surface. There is no tension between them, none at all. Graffiti covers the lower reaches of many walls, scratched into the plaster with a stylus, painted in red or black. Some of it is commercial, salvi lucrum, welcome profit. Some is political, some is romantic, and some is simply a name. Someone needed to leave evidence of their passage. Someone needed to say, I was here, on this street, on this day. I scratched my name into this wall. In that way, I made myself permanent. The permanence works. It has worked, so far. The names are still there. You walk slowly, and the city lets itself be walked. This is something Pompeii does well. Other ancient cities do it less. It invites a particular pace, the pace of someone with nowhere further to go. They are going only where they happen to find themselves, only there, only now. The streets are narrow enough to feel intimate, wide enough to breathe in, and the facades of the houses give nothing away. Blank stucco walls, painted in faded red and yellow and cream. Doorways are set into them, simply openings, nothing more. Just openings, through which the life inside passes in and out. Through a few of these doorways, you catch a glimpse. They open onto the forces, the narrow entrance passage, and beyond it, a lit atrium, the reflected flicker of a lamp dancing on the ceiling. It moves above the impluvium, the rectangular pool, the pool that sits at the center of every Roman atrium. It catches the rain that falls through the open ceiling above. It has always caught the rain. One doorway is open. You pause at the threshold. You do not enter. A man sits in a chair near the impluvium. His sandals are off. His feet rest on the cool mosaic floor. He is reading a wax tablet by the light of an oil lamp. The lamp sits on the table beside him. He does not look up. He is reading something that requires concentration. You can see it in the slight forward tilt of his head. You can see it in the small movement of his lips. People do this when the words are important enough to speak silently. Behind him, in the dim distance of the tablinum, someone else is moving through the shadows, going toward the back of the house, toward the garden. They carry a lamp. You move on. The city breathes around you. The Via Consolare opens, without warning, into the Forum. You stop. The Forum of Pompeii is not the largest in the Roman world. It may be the most human in its proportions, a long open rectangle, approximately 150 meters by 38, paved in travertine limestone that glows faintly in the starlight, enclosed on three sides by two-story colonnaded porticos. They give it its formal shape. At its northern end, the Temple of Jupiter dominates. Its columns rise against the night sky. They have the unhurried authority of very old vertical things, old and still and certain. At this hour, the Forum is entirely empty. The stalls of the money changers are shuttered. The steps of the basilica are unoccupied. No citizen is making a speech. No merchant is arguing a contract. No magistrate is processing with his attendants toward the curia. Just silence. The Forum is what it rarely is during daylight. Quiet, simply itself. You walk out into the center of the pavement. Travertine, pale and cool beneath your feet. You turn slowly, taking in the full circle around you. To the north, the Temple of Jupiter. High on its podium, above the square, 6 columns face you, pale and still, against the star-thick sky. To the east, the Macellum, the covered market, where the fishmongers work by day. Its walls are dark now, its doorways sealed. To the south, the Basilica, the great civic hall, where the law courts sit. Commercial disputes are settled there. Its enormous entrance arch frames a rectangle of dark sky. Around the edges of the Forum, between the columns of the portico, the bases of statues, equestrian bronzes, standing figures in marble, the commemorated men and women of this city's civic life. They cast their faint shadows into the colonnade, still and patient in the dark. And behind all of this, above all of this, to the north and slightly east, Vesuvius. You can see it from the Forum, even at night, the massive dark shape of it. It rises above the rooftops of the northern city. Its summit disappears into a faint haze. It might be cloud. It might simply be the mountain's upper air. On a hot summer night, it is just a mountain, larger than most, more dominating in its relationship to the city below, but a mountain nonetheless, present, solid, entirely what it appears to be, a geographic feature, a landmass, stone and soil, and the dense, complicated interior of the earth, all organized into an elevation. The vine terraces on its lowest slopes are invisible now. The dark hides them, but you know they are there. Pompeiian wine comes from those slopes, from the deep volcanic soil that gives the grapes their particular character. The wine of this region is known across the empire, known for exactly that quality, a warmth in it, something mineral, something deep, the taste of whatever the mountain has given to the earth. You stand in the Forum and you breathe. The dark holds everything gently. The mountain is there. It has always been there, solid and still and entirely itself. You stand at the center of the Forum. Above you, a sky full of stars. The mountain rises above the rooftops. The city surrounds you on every side. Everything is very still. A cat sits on the steps of the Temple of Jupiter, a gray cat, compact and self-possessed. It regards you with calm attention. This cat has been in the Forum its entire life. It sees all human presence as provisional, slightly beside the point. The cat does not blink. It is simply there. It occupies its corner of the night with complete equanimity. Its presence makes the Forum feel less empty, more inhabited, more itself. Somewhere beyond the Forum, in the direction of the Via dell'Abbondanza, a door opens and closes. A lamp moves in a second-story window, then it goes out. The city is settling. You walk the perimeter of the Forum slowly. You move under the colonnade. Your hand trails along the smooth plaster of the wall. The columns pass beside you, one by one. They are thick and close-spaced and cool to the touch. You move through them gently. The plaster is very smooth where it has been touched many times. It is slightly rougher where it hasn't. Texture records where hands have rested. Pompeii's citizens stood here, talking, leaning, just as you lean now. People have stood in this colonnade, having conversations that matter to them. Property transactions, family disputes, the price of grain, whether the candidate for Adel is to be trusted. He probably isn't, but then they never are. You vote for them anyway. The alternative is having no voice at all. These conversations have worn the plaster at shoulder height. Conversations wear things imperceptibly. Over time, small contacts accumulate. They leave a permanent mark, a record of presence. The people making it never intended to leave it. You reach the end of the colonnade and turn. The forum opens ahead of you again. The temple of Jupiter is there. The cat is still on the steps. Vesuvius is still above the rooftops, doing nothing, being itself. The Stabian Baths are the oldest in Pompeii and the largest. Even at this hour, they are not entirely silent. There are caretakers inside. The furnaces that heat the hot room run through the night. It takes hours to bring the warm rooms back to temperature. The underground heat must be kept continuous. Morning bathers need to find the floors warm, the walls warm too, so there is a faint warmth from the bath complex walls right now, and a distant sound, moving air. It travels through the channels beneath the floors. Occasionally, you hear a stoker, adding fuel to the furnace far below. The sound is muffled by stone. It is less a sound than a vibration, something felt rather than heard. You stand in the outer court of the Stabian Baths. You let the warmth come to you. The baths in any Roman city are not merely a place for washing. They are the social center of the day. Citizens of every class come here. On more or less equal terms, they are stripped of the clothing that marks rank, that marks trade and origin, equal in the warm water, equal in the particular democracy of shared comfort. By day, the Stabian Baths hold hundreds of people, men in the men's section, women in the women's. The changing rooms are full of deposited clothing, the sounds of people undressing, redressing. The warm room is crowded, the hot room steams. The cold plunge pool offers a sharp shock, the shock that makes the blood move, that makes the skin tighten, that makes the body feel, for a few minutes, entirely alive. The Pompeiians love their baths. Some come once a day, some come twice. They conduct business here. Political conversations, the kind of informal talk no formal place can hold. The baths are where the city breathes. Now they are quiet. The warmth they give off is the warmth of stone, stone that has been heated for hours and is giving back what it was given, the slow return of an investment in heat, and it is enough. The court is open to the sky, the same sky you've been under all evening, the full August sky of the Bay of Naples, star-thick and vast. The Milky Way crosses it from south to north, a river of faint silver light. It seems almost to touch the white plaster of the colonnade below. The colonnade runs around the courtyard. The plaster is very white here, freshly applied in some sections. You can tell by the slight sheen of it. The starlight catches it gently. It's still holding some moisture, still completing its slow process, still hardening into the permanent thing it will be. The Pompeiians are always building, always repairing, always improving. This city was damaged by an earthquake 17 years ago. It has been under reconstruction ever since. In many parts of Pompeii, the scent of fresh plaster is always present, the cut stone, the wet lime, always present. The sounds of mallet and chisel are never far during daylight hours. The city exists in a permanent state of becoming. It is always, quietly, more of what it already is. This is less a response to the earthquake. It is simply the city's character. It is a city that is always becoming. The palestra is empty now. The exercise ground, quiet and still. By day, young men wrestle here. They run. They throw the discus in afternoon light. The rectangular pool is still. It is mirror dark. It holds the stars in its surface. This afternoon, the exercise had turned it opaque. Now it is settled back into nighttime clarity. You sit on the edge of the pool. You look down. The reflected sky looks up at you. You trail your fingers at the surface. The water is cool, cooler than you expect. This summer night is warm. The stone of the city holds its warmth, but the water stays cool. It has always stayed cool. That coolness is agreeable. It is a small gift from the water to your hand, the gift of something that is simply what it is, uncomplicated. It asks nothing of you. It offers itself without ceremony. Above the baths, Vesuvius is there. The mountain is always there. You can see it from every part of the city, every street, every rooftop, every pool. The Pompeiians have learned not to see it. You do that. With the things always in your field of vision, you learn not to see them. The mountain is present, enormous. It rises above the rooftops to the north. No one is looking at it now. No one has any reason to look. It is just the mountain, the thing that has always been there. It gives the wine its depth. It gives the soil its richness. It gives the landscape its scale. It asks one thing of the city below, just one, be understood as permanent, which it is. You breathe. The water is still. The stars shift in their reflections, almost imperceptibly, drifting so slowly. You breathe. The dark holds you gently. The main road of Pompeii runs east to west. It moves through the heart of the city. It connects the forum to the amphitheater. Along its length, everything, all the textures of life here, compressed into one long street. The thermopolia are quiet now. Fast food counters, their ceramic vessels still set into stone. The surfaces show the rings where the day's pots sat and were lifted away. The fabric shops have their shutters up, their bolts put away for the night. The bakeries wait with their great round millstones. You can see them through the half-open doors, still, heavy, dark. The mills were turned by donkeys all day long. Now they stand in the dark, unmoving. The ovens are banked low. They wait for the baker who will come before sunrise. He will begin his work in the hours before dawn. You are here before him. You walk the Via dell'Abbondanza, heading east. The street gives you everything it has at this hour. Form and smell, and the particular texture of a Roman street at night. A thermopolium on the south side of the street is still half open. The proprietor hasn't lowered the shutters yet. Through the gap, you can see the counter. Ceramic vessels are sunk into the stone. They're empty now, cleaned out at day's end, but they still carry something. In their pores, the memory of food. Lentil soup, spiced wine, bean paste with olive oil and herbs. That's what working Pompeiians eat for their midday meal. The proprietor is visible in the back room. He sits at a small table, counting coins in lamplight. He moves them, one pile to another. It's the practiced economy of someone who does this every night. He's learned that the coins come out the same, no matter how many times you count them, but he counts them anyway, because it's the work. A cat sits on the counter beside the empty vessels. A different cat from the forum cat, perhaps, or perhaps the same one. This one has better mobility than expected. The cat watches the proprietor with an interest that appears to be about food, but it may simply be about the quality of the lamplight. The proprietor glances up. You've paused at the gap in the shutters without meaning to. He nods once, the nod of a busy man toward a stranger who isn't yet a customer, and then he returns to his coins. The cat watches you for another moment, then it looks away. There are raised sidewalks, stepping stones set at intervals across the roadway. Pedestrians cross on them without stepping into the wet. Grooves are worn by cartwheels alongside the stones. Doorways and facades alternate in an irregular rhythm. Over a long walk, it becomes almost musical. You've learned to read this rhythm. A blank wall and a single door, that's a private house. An L-shaped counter visible through an opening, that's a thermopolium. Millstones in the doorway, a bakery. The flour smell lingers there. It stays, even hours after the day's work has stopped. Quiet now, still there. The smell of the Via dell'Abbondanza at night is layered. It is specific. Wood smoke drifts from somewhere, a kitchen still burning, or a furnace. Over that sits the warm, yeasty smell of bread. It is being made 2 streets over, a bakery doing its night shift, supplying the taverns, supplying the baths. Beneath the bread smell is oil, street lamp oil, not many lit now, but a few still burning. A few burn at intersections, a few burn at doorways, where establishments stay open later than most. Beneath that is something older, the mineral smell of the lava paving itself, wet where someone sluiced water across it in the late evening. Now it is beginning to dry in the August warmth, drying slowly, quietly, in the dark. An election notice is painted on the wall to your left. The red letters, still bright. They were painted last spring. Herculaneum priscum AAD of F. Veneri erogan, the Dyers Guild, asking their membership to support Herculaneus priscus for Adil. The letters are perfectly formed. This is the work of a professional. He did his work by lamplight in the early morning, before the street traffic began. He mixed his red pigment. He applied it to white plaster. He moved with practiced ease, a man who has painted perhaps 1,000 such notices. He finds them no more remarkable than any other commission. The paint is permanent now. The candidate is long since elected or not elected. The sign remains, bright in the lamplight, speaking into an empty street. Behind a wall, on the south side of the Via dell'Abbondanza, there is a house, off a side street, set back from the world, a merchant's house of moderate wealth, large enough to have a proper garden, too modest for a second reception room, too modest for a private bath. The family has been here for 2 generations. The house shows it. Inhabited houses show the passage of time in their details. A threshold stone, worn hollow at its center, worn from 10,000 crossings, a pillar in the atrium whose plaster has been painted twice. The older paint shows through where the newer coat is cracked, and in the corner of the kitchen a household shrine. Its paint is faded, its little figures of the household gods are shiny, shiny with touching, shiny with the daily touch of the cook and the housekeeper. She makes the morning offering without thinking much about it. You don't think about the things you've always done. You've been invited in, or perhaps you've simply arrived. You've been welcomed in the way that Roman households welcome those who arrive with good intentions, those with a willingness to be still, the way you are now. The atrium is quiet. The impluvium, the rectangular pool in the floor, holds 2 inches of rainwater from a shower 3 days ago. Still and dark, it reflects the square of sky above you. It reflects the lamp burning in the niche beside the entrance. You stand at the edge of the pool. You look down at the reflected flame. It is doubled, the real one above, and its image below, both equally steady in the windless night, both equally still. The mosaic floor of the atrium is geometric, black tesserae on white, a repeating pattern of diamonds and triangles. It has been here since the house was built, since a mosaic worker set his tiny cubes of stone, one by one, into mortar. He worked from the center outward. He worked methodically, patiently, without hurry. He covered the floor in a pattern that would outlast him, a pattern that would outlast the house itself, a pattern that will be here, is precisely here, when this night has gone. You breathe. The dark holds you gently. You are still. Beyond the tablinum, the garden opens. The peristyle garden is one of Rome's great achievements. Not large, in most cases, entirely sufficient. A rectangle of garden, enclosed by columns. They rise on all four sides. The open sky is above. It is a room that is both inside and outside, sheltered from the street noise, sheltered from the afternoon glare, open to the air, open to the stars, open to whatever breeze the Bay of Naples sends inland on summer evenings. This garden has a central fountain, a low stone basin, a small bronze figure at its center, a boy with a dolphin. Water should run from the dolphin's open mouth. At this hour, the water has been turned off. The dolphin is silent. The basin holds only still water, dark water, glassy and unmoving. Around the fountain, in careful beds, the garden grows. Low box hedges border each bed. Roses, late summer roses, still carrying a few blooms. Their petals are pale in the darkness. Rosemary and lavender and thyme. The herbs every Roman garden keeps close, close to the kitchen door, close to the cook's reach. A fig tree stands in the corner. Its broad leaves catch the starlight. They hold it like shallow cups. The underside of each leaf is dark, dark against the slightly lighter dark of the sky. The smell of the garden at night is extraordinary. The lavender carries furthest, a clean, dry, herbal smell. The warmth of the day has distilled it down to its essence. The cooling night is slowly releasing it. Beneath the lavender, the rose, complicated and sweet. Beneath that, the earth itself, warm, faintly mineral. The garden bed was turned recently. The gardener who serves this household turned it. He takes pride in the straightness of his rows. He takes pride in the depth of his mulch. You sit in the garden, on the low stone bench. It runs along the south colonnade. It has been sat upon many times, smooth in the particular way of stone that has been touched, again and again, in the same places. The corners are rounded off, the surface is almost silky, and the garden surrounds you. The night is very warm and very quiet. The columns rise around you. They stand on all four sides, white and still. Their capitals are modest, simple. This is not a grand house, not one of the great mansions. It is a house of quiet comfort. It knows what comfort is. It has arranged itself carefully around that knowledge. The fourth column from the left has a crack in its plaster. It runs vertically from capital to base. The earthquake caused it, 17 years ago now. That quake cracked half the columns in half the gardens in Pompeii. The crack has not been repaired, not yet. The mason who was meant to do it died last spring. His son is only now learning the trade. These things take time. There is no urgency. The column stands. Between the columns, the garden beds hold their evening arrangement. A terracotta pot near the fountain carries a cascade of trailing vine. By day it is bright green. By night it is simply a dark shape, interesting in its irregularity. It takes up space in a way that seems considered. Whoever placed it there understood something, a visual geometry they were composing. They placed the vine exactly where it was needed. The Romans take their gardens seriously. They have written treatises on the subject. They know what they are doing. The fig tree above you is enormous for a garden fig. It has been here longer than the current generation. Someone now dead planted it. They planted it not for its fruit, but for its shade. In an Italian garden, in high summer, shade is a necessity. No amount of ornament can substitute for it. The broad leaves above you are still now. The nighttime stillness follows the day's restlessness. Still, perfectly still. Through the gaps between the leaves, you can see the stars, not the whole sky, just pieces of it. Large bright stars, framed by the black shapes of leaves. Each piece of sky holds more stars than you can count. You count them anyway, slowly. The next gap draws your eye, and you count again, differently. The garden sounds at night are small, specific. A drop of water falls from the fountain. It hits the wet stone below. Something small moves in the herbs. A lizard, a moth, a mouse. They move along the border and are still. The fig tree makes small sounds too. Its wood contracts as the temperature drops. These sounds are so quiet, they are hardly sounds at all, more like the tree thinking to itself, the private conversation of living wood. Living wood speaks to the night that surrounds it. Beyond the garden wall, Pompeii is present, but distant. A dog is barking several streets away. It is a serious bark, purposeful. The dog has found something worth barking at. This is not a casual bark, not the kind made from habit. It goes on for a while, then it stops. A cart goes by on a nearby street. It is only allowed to move at night. The pedestrian traffic has cleared, and so it comes. Its iron wheels rattle on the lava paving. The sound comes nearer, then it recedes. Then it is gone entirely, absorbed by the city's night silence. You breathe. The garden breathes with you. Your body is very heavy on the stone bench, heavy in the good way, the way of a body that has walked a long way through an interesting night, a body that has arrived somewhere with no further demands. Your shoulders are down, your hands are open on your knees, the bench supports you entirely. The warmth of the stone comes up through your clothes and into you. The warmth of the air sits on your skin like a second blanket. The smell of lavender and rose is all around you. Above you, through the fig leaves, the stars are there, steady, enormous. The same stars that are there every night over Pompeii. The same stars they have always been. You go back through the house, through the atrium with its still water, through the doorway and into the side street, then north, through the city, toward higher ground. Near the Vesuvius gate, you can see the mountain in full. Tonight, you want to see it. You can't fully explain why. The streets are almost empty now, the true late night empty, the hour when the city is fully committed to sleep. Even the dogs are quiet. Even the lights in the upper windows have mostly gone out. Your sandals on the lava paving make a sound. It travels ahead of you and returns. A dry sound, slightly hollow. The sound of a person alone in a city that's mostly asleep. In some other place, it might feel lonely. Here, it doesn't. Here it's simply companionable, simply the sound of walking, simply evidence of motion. From the high ground near the Vesuvius gate, the mountain fills the northern sky. It is enormous. You have been aware of it all evening, peripherally, present at the edge of every view, above the forum, above the rooftops, behind the bath complex, but now you are facing it directly, the full scale of it open to you. It rises from the flat plain in a long, almost gentle slope. The slope does not announce its height until you look at the sky. The summit is much higher than you expected, higher than the darkness has suggested, higher than you thought. The mountain itself is dark, against the slightly lighter dark of the sky. Its silhouette is clean and complete. broad shoulders on the left and on the right, a summit that is not sharp, not a cone, broad and blunt, the profile of something ancient, something that has worn its edges down over a very long time. The haze around the summit, the one you noticed from the Forum, is still there. A slight thickening of the air, a faint softening of the stars around the mountain's crown. Nothing more than that. It might be summer humidity. It might be the late evening sea fog drifting inland before dawn. These things happen here. They are unremarkable. The mountain offers nothing to remark on tonight. It is simply the mountain, quiet, just the dark, just the stars, softening. You stand at the gate. You look at the mountain for a long time, the way people look at very large things that aren't doing anything. That's the only way to look at them, with patience that matches their scale, a willingness to simply be in their presence, without requiring them to perform or explain themselves. The mountain is stone and soil, the dense interior of the earth, organized into this shape. It has been this shape longer than the city below has existed. It will be, in some form, long after tonight. The air near the gate is cooler now, cooler than down by the baths, cooler than the garden. The elevation gives a little. The gap in the city wall draws a faint current from the open fields north of the city, a current that carries the smell of orchards and earth. The lower slopes of the mountain, a cool, dark smell, the smell of uncultivated ground in the late night. You breathe it in and out. You don't go back toward the gate. Instead, you turn south, walking downhill through the sleeping city. The streets open onto the elevated terrace on Pompeii's southern edge. The city wall runs along the crest of the natural rise above the sea. From here, on a clear day, you can see across the bay to the peninsula beyond Sorrentum, the islands of Capri, far in the south. Tonight, what you see is different. The bay is dark, a vast dark plain extending southward, barely distinguishable from the sky above it, except by the absence of stars. Where the water is, the stars end. The dark of the water fills the space where the sky stops at the horizon, but along the far shore, lights are visible, dim amber points in clusters, Herculaneum closer to the north, the lights of Neapolis further around the bay, to the northwest, and somewhere out in the dark water, the lights of fishing boats, working the deep channels by lamplight, the same way fishermen have worked these waters for centuries, the same way they will work them for centuries more. The sea air arrives from the south, steady, clean, cool, not the way a city is cool. This is different. You stand on the terrace, face turned toward it. You let it work on you. There is something in salt air, something city air doesn't have, an absence, a clarity. This is air that has come a long way, over open water, all that distance, without picking up the smells of human places, without the sounds of streets. It arrives here, still mostly itself, mostly sea. It moves your hair slightly. It touches your arms. It touches your face with the lightest possible hand. The Bay of Naples makes a bowl in the coastline. The Romans call it crater. It is one of the most beautiful bodies of water in the world. It is beautiful even now, even in the dark. The night reduces it to suggestion, a great curving dark flatness. Coastlines and islands bound it, darker shapes in darkness. Boats and distant settlements spark it with points of light. It breathes slowly, with the tide. The Romans who live on its shores don't take it for granted. The bay is famous. Its fame is part of every city's identity here. People come from elsewhere in the empire to look at it. They stand on terraces like this one. They look south, toward Capri and Sorrentum. They let the beauty fill them, the way beautiful things fill people who attend to them. But the people who live here have made their peace with it. They see it every day. It is simply the bay, the thing that is always there, to the south, Their grandparents saw it. Their grandparents' grandparents saw it. People were here before any Roman was. They saw this same bay, from this same elevation. They felt this same salt air. They watched this same dark water, moving slowly, under a sky, thick with these same stars, even then. You sit on the stone of the terrace wall. It is broad enough to sit on, worn smooth. Many bodies, over many years, have worn it smooth. You look south, across the bay. The city is behind you. Pompeii is behind you. Distance and hour have reduced its sounds to nothing. Its lamps flicker amber, occasional, visible at the edge of your vision when you turn to look. The whole city gathers into late-night silence. It is held there, present, breathing. Vesuvius is behind you now. You've walked away from it, toward the sea. The mountain is somewhere over your left shoulder, northward, present, without being visible. Very large things stay present, even when you're no longer looking at them. The mountain will be there in the morning. It has always been there in the morning. The vines on its slopes will be moving, in early light, the way they always move. Smoke from the bread ovens will be rising slowly, from the lower city. The fountain in the garden will be running again. The cats will be moving through the forum. In the early light, before the market sets up, quiet paws, quiet stones, the city will be entirely itself, entirely alive, busy with its own complicated, abundant life. And you are here, still here, just here. The sea is close, the dark is kind, you breathe, and that is enough. You breathe the sea air. The fishing boats move slowly on the bay. Their lights draw small arcs on the dark water. They follow the fish. They follow the deep currents. The fishermen know these currents. They have always known them, not in their minds, in their hands, in the way their bodies move with the water. Your body is adjusting to, not to motion, to the end of motion, to the becoming still that late night always brings. The sea air brings it. The warm stone beneath you brings it. You are still. The bay is still. The city behind you is still. Even the mountain is still, as it has always been still. The stars above the bay are moving so slowly, the slow turning of everything. The water below them is dark. The air between them and you is cool, clean and cool. The city is breathing. The mountain above the city is breathing. And you are breathing in the same slow rhythm. The rhythm underneath all the other rhythms. The one everything returns to at this hour. Slower now, quieter. Your body is very heavy. Your hands are open. The stone beneath you is warm. The sea air is cool on your face. You've been in this city a long time tonight. Long enough to know its stones, its smells, its sounds, its cats, its gardens, its quiet. Now the city is giving you the last of what it has, the sea view, the still air, the late hour, and the permission to rest. You have walked all of it. You have received all of it. Pompeii is behind you. The bay is in front of you. The mountain is above, enormous and silent, doing what it has always done, being what it has always been. The fishing boats move slowly on the dark water. The stars move slowly in the dark sky. Everything is moving very slowly, in the directions they have always moved, in the rhythms they have always kept. Your breathing is one of those rhythms now, slowing to match the rest, slower. There is nothing to think about tonight. The city has given you everything, the warm streets, the empty forum, the garden with its lavender, its fig tree, the mountain above the gate, the sea below the terrace. You have walked all of it. You have received all of it. Now the city is releasing you. as cities always release their visitors at the very end of night, gently into the sleep that has been waiting. Patient, ready, the sea air comes, the stars turn, the stone is warm. Rest now, sleep.